Hi, my name is Brittany, and today we'll be talking about the circulatory system and tracing a drop of blood to help us better understand how the body feeds itself. So the circulatory system is composed of three different systems that all work together. We have our cardiovascular, which is our heart, our pulmonary, which is our lungs, and our systemic, which is our vessels, being our arteries, arterioles, veins, venules, capillaries, so on and so forth. So we're better to start off with this than the powerhouse itself, our heart. Our heart is a muscular organ that sits right in the middle of your chest and is about the size of your fist. The heart is composed of four chambers, two on the top being our atria and two on the bottom being our ventricles. Within the heart itself, there are four major passageways that are closed off by what we call valves. And these valves are meant to keep blood from backflowing. So we'll start off with the vena cava. The vena cava is the largest vein in our body, and it's responsible for collecting all of the oxygen-poor blood from our organs and tissue and collecting into the right atria. The right atria will take that deoxygenated blood, push it through our first valve, known as our tricuspid, which will close, allowing the right ventricle to push all of that oxygen-poor blood into the pulmonary trunk through our second valve, known as the semilunar. So once the blood has gone through the semilunar valve into the pulmonary trunk and separated onto the left and right side, it'll go through a series of arteries, arterioles, into the capillary beds. Once in the capillary bed, it'll go through a process called diffusion, where the blood will give away its carbon dioxide and collect O2. And how we get here is by breathing in that oxygen, making it through the bronchi, into the bronchioles, into the alveoli, and each individual alveolus, giving off the oxygen and taking the CO2 for us to breathe out. So once it's gone through that process of diffusion, it'll make its way back through the capillary beds, into the venules, into veins, into the pulmonary vein, and the pulmonary veins will collect into the left atria. The left atria will contract through our third valve, known as the mitral valve, into the left ventricle, the strongest chamber in the body responsible for pumping all of the blood through us. So that valve will close, allowing the left ventricle to contract, pushing that blood through our last valve, being our aortic valve, into the aortic arch, which will look a little bit like this. And the aortic valve will branch into our carotid, feeding our head and neck, our axillary, feeding our arms, and then the one that runs down the back, which is our aorta itself, feeding our torso and our legs. That blood will branch out, giving away all of its amazing oxygen that it collected from the lungs and feeding those organs and tissues. Those organs and tissues will then give back whatever it doesn't want, being other gases, nutrients, toxins, what have you, sending it all the way back through, finding its way to the vena cava, efficiently starting the process all over again. So everything that we put into our body eventually makes its way back to the heart in some capacity. The heart itself will pump about 2,000 gallons of blood and beat roughly 100 to 115,000 times a day.